Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Invitational 3. We are very deep in the tournament at this point. We are with only 6 players left. In fact, if you want to be technical, there are only 5 players left because the other lower bracket match in this round, Blightbringer and ZF, which was narrated by Jabba, has already taken place. And spoilers, you guys should go back and watch it if you haven't already, but spoilers, ZF managed to win that. And that means that the winner of this set, Posse G and Astamatitos, is going to go on to play against ZF, with the winner getting themselves guaranteed money, and the loser being out in 4th place, which is bitterly disappointing because that is it's a great finish in this stacked tournament, don't get me wrong, but that is the position that is first out of the money. It is on the bubble, as they say in poker. But let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Right now, we are very deep in the tournament. Whoever loses here is going to be out with a 5th/6th place finish, and the winner is going to go on to play for the cash money. So Posse G and Astamatitos have both had very tough fields to get here. Posse in particular has gone through huge players like Lanier and Starmaster in order to get to where he is. And we'll see if he can knock off yet another powerful foe in Astamatitos, who took his only loss to Triangles in the winner's bracket a couple of rounds ago. So here is game 1 in the best of 3 between these guys. Posse's on the bottom and Asta's on the top. It's going to be a lead Zapdos for Posse and a lead Coon for Asta on the top, and Zapdos obviously has the advantage in this matchup. Going to be an agility, no point in attacking since he knows there's going to be a switch. It's going to be Blissey coming into it, special wall into the Zapdos, pretty standard, and the agility is going to get passed to Celebi, which would have been faster anyway than the Blissey, but certainly now it is. And that's going to calm Mind up here after Fire Blast misses for Asta, so this is probably just going to prompt a Whirlwind or a Roar, and indeed that's what's going on here. Asta is not content to allow a Calm Mind chain to begin happening for Posse G, but he did get a nice Hidden Power Fire off on the way out. So now he goes Thunderbolt, just in case Skarm tries to stay in, get cute, get spikes down. Asta did not do that. He simply went to Bliss again, and BP out. Here is Swampert on the bad end of an Ice Beam here, 32%. Fire Blast would have done less, so good prediction there for Asta. Celebi comes in now and meets a Gengar, which is coming in for the first time for Asta, so we don't know what it does. But he's going to immediately, just very first time it makes an appearance, going to go for Boom. And now we're going to see why, because there is a Dugtrio in the back for Asta. Celebi going to be trapped here, and it's going to be taken out with Hidden Power, which is almost certainly Hidden Power Bug, which is the standard on Dugtrio. So we've got ourselves a pretty quick 5-5, thanks to the 1-for-1 trade, thanks to Boom. Baton Pass here brings out Heracross, previously unrevealed. Not as good in the matchup as it could be since we know there's a Dugtrio in the back for Asta, but nevertheless, the Heracross could heavily damage or potentially kill one Pokemon now before going down. Gonna sub up on Skarm here. Here comes Focus Punch. Drill Peck is going to pop the sub, but Skarm is not going to live this Focus Punch here. Heracross hits like a truck. However, unless it is a Salic Berry set, which we know that it's not because we've seen the lefties, Dugtrio is going to come in here and get the revenge kill off with Aerial Ace, and there is nothing that can be done about that for the Heracross. So just like that, Dugtrio has its second kill, and we've got ourselves a 4-4. Metagross comes in now, possibly fishing for Blissey. That's not what it finds. He does get a critical hit and an attack raise, so a perfect Meteor Mash on the Coon, and bad luck continuing for Asta as he misses Hydro Pump here. Now Posse Earthquakes him, and Coon will die to the follow-up. Coon has no chance to kill here without a critical hit. However, Hydro Pump plus Dugtrio would be good enough, and Posse's not okay with that, so he gets out of the way, goes to his last poke, previously unrevealed Starmie, pulls it back to Zapdos just in case, and that is on the bad end of a Hydro Pump on the way in. 58% it takes from this offensive Coon. Last poke for Asta is Claydol. This is a classic, well-known team, originally built by M-Dragon for the 2015 World Cup. Asta has obviously made a couple of tweaks to the moveset, such as the offensive Coon and the Boom Gar, but the core concept of the team has been around for a long time and is very tried and true, and is one of the best and most effective, safest tournament teams that has been played in the past several years. Kuhn against Pert now becomes Starmie on Kuhn. A second Hydro Pump miss for Asta. He's had a couple of unlucky things happen to him this game. Does he play around Thunderbolt here? He goes to Blissey just in case. It is not Thunderbolt. It is Psychic. That would not have killed the Kuhn. But Blissey takes it very well. 15%. Swampert comes in. And Fire Blast is going to connect. 21% it's going to do to Pert. Not very effective, of course, because of the water typing. Earthquake. Noting here that Swampert is faster. And Ice Beam comes down. And a Freeze for Asta. Now Asta gets a little bit of good luck. See if Posse wants to try to gamble and thaw. He tries it once, doesn't get there. Asta takes the opportunity to soft boil just in case. See if Posse tries again. He does not. He goes to Metagross at this point. And that's going to prompt out the Kuhn. Neither player brought T-Tower this game, so these things are gaining lefties. Starmie comes in. Hydro Pump does connect this time, 43%. Starmie may or may not live another depending on the roll, and he also may have Recover. He has not shown that yet. The only move Starmie has shown thus far is Psychic. We end up with Zapdos on Claydol here, which becomes Blissey on Zapdos. Blissey has religiously switched into the Zapdos throughout the game. Agility here that we know that it can Baton Pass. And that's exactly what he does. We find out that Asta's going to be staying in. Meta there. Fire Blast. Gets cooked for 68%. And here's Kuhn. Substitute on the switch. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's going to eat his Lychee Berry as well. All of a sudden, this is a very dangerous Metagross here. Wow, but Asta's Kuhn, his offensive Kuhn has Roar. That's the exact set that he needs to have. The Metagross could easily have swept there had he not had the Roar. In fact, it was looking very good that the Metagross would have swept there if he didn't have the Roar. So that is exactly the set that Asta needed to have. He's got the very rare offensive Kuhn that has Roar. An unusual set to be certain. And now Asta gets a critical hit on Hydro Pump. Granted, it did not matter in this situation, but just pointing it out. The Kuhn here is faster based on the lefty's gain. Therefore, the Kuhn cannot stay in and survive. Hidden Power there, possibly Grass to be a catch-all toward either of the ground types that could come in, or should the Kuhn stay in, which it did not. There's Agility, and there's Ice Beam, 54%. Obviously, Zapdos not about to live another one, but he's going to Baton Pass that elsewhere. Baton passes to Swampert here, trying to bait out a Fire Blast. Good play there for both players. Posse to try it, and Asta to not fall for it. Since it's so obvious to pass to Metagross there, the obvious thing to hit it with is Fire Blast. So Posse tries to go to Swampert and get it to thaw out. Here comes Claydol. And Posse gets an unlucky miss at a bad time. He would have needed to connect and get an attack raise there. As it turns out, he's slower, so he probably would have needed a critical hit in hindsight. But the Claydol has Boom, and that's going to leave only the Zapdos against 3 pokes for Asta. And he would need immediate power, full power on this Thunderbolt to have any chance in hell. It does not come, and there's the Ice Beam knockout. Game 1 goes to Astamatitos and Posse G with his back against the wall. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the game. Game 2 coming up next.